Hey, welcome back to Trent's OTG. We've got a 09 Nissan Altima here, and it's in need of a power steering pump and some hoses. Got some noise in the power steering, and it's leaking a little bit. So we're just gonna take care of that real quick. Okay, just a view from the top here. I'll note that I pulled this cover, comes off here with just 3 Allen bolts, so that clears some viewing space, but it's pretty tight up here on this side. Notice the reservoir here is covered in fluid, so probably a little bit of leakage from this hose here and the one on the back right there. So we're going to replace those hoses and clamps, and I pulled the wheel and also the cover that goes right here, which is this guy. And if you don't have one of these tools, I probably use this on about every job that I do, and it works great for these clips so you don't break as many. This gives you a good view where the power steering pump is, and there's the belt, and then here is the tensioner. So you put a 14 millimeter on that tensioner and pull it one way, and it'll loosen that belt up so you can take it off. And then probably the best view for what's going on here is right here. You can see there's a hose up a little bit higher. Let's see. It's the one that feeds behind this plug, and it's dripping onto this pressure sensor and onto this pressure hose. I'm actually going to replace the pressure hose because I'm doing the pump, and so we're getting a few hoses and the pump done. And then another idea would be to change that pressure sensor, but we're going to start with these things. There's only 2 bolts, one here on the bottom and one on the top, that go to the power steering pump, so that should come out pretty easily. But it'll be a little messy with all the power steering fluid, so we'll loosen this bolt for the pressure hose and drain all that fluid first. Let's also point out the old pump here. Here it is. That's what it looks like. Had to take the bracket off the back, 2 bolts there. Let's see. There we go. These 2 here have a bracket, and then it had 3 bolts on the front for the front bracket, and so I transferred that over. But as I was doing that, I noticed this pump was really kind of stiff, and as you turn this thing, it's kind of got some resistance. Maybe not a bad thing to have some, but it's kind of tough, and so I'm sure that was not helping that pump survive, probably helping that make noise. So we're all good now, got a new one. Okay, here's a look at the finished product here. We got our new pump loaded up. We got the belt back on there. Ended up just being, yes, the 2 bolts on the pump. There's the pressure line bolt all clamped back up. Not too much to say. I would say the pressure hose bolt was tough to access. So that was a 24 millimeter or 15/16. And I just had to have the right amount of extension on it to get past the the electrical pressure sensor there, and that worked all right. I also was using this open box end wrench too, but that ended up working, getting it back together. I reached the bottom bolt here easily. The top bolt on the pump had to go from the top, kind of reach down in there on this side, but didn't have to take anything apart really up here. There's a new return hose, and then tough to see the new fill hose or feed hose for the pump coming from this reservoir. So nothing too fancy. It's all back together and enough to start it, make sure there's no leaks. It was messy draining that thing, but we're all good, back together. So let's test it for leaks and put the covers back on, wheels back on, and call it a day. Thanks for tuning in.